Buddy, it's Doug Buenz and the 680 Doug Buenz Group at Compass Real Estate here in Pleasanton in the Tri-Valley. And we're going to do a quick market update today. First and foremost, of course, here's hoping that you and your family and loved ones are safe. This is a very trying time for everyone, not only from a health perspective, but from an economy perspective. A lot of the small businesses are really struggling. So I hope you guys are doing well, and we'll get through this together. So let's take a quick look at the real estate market, because I'm still getting questions on what's going on in the market. And the perception is the market's completely shut down, and that's not really the case. So let's take a quick look at the summary of our data, and then we'll dive deeper into the stats for those that want to see that. So here's what's happened in the last 7 days. In the Tri-Valley real estate market. Number one, sales activity is at 40 to 55% of last year's level. That's not a surprise, and it's actually it is a surprise. It's a surprise that it's that strong, which is really, given all the circumstances, pretty good news. Last update at the end of March showed that activity level in Dublin and Livermore was over 70% of normal, and that's kind of settled down a little bit, but we're still seeing sales activity, obviously not at the same level as it was last year. Inventory is about half of normal. That's not a surprise either. It's a big challenge right now to sell a home that's occupied. Most of the sellers don't want people coming through their home. So most of the inventory out there is made up of vacant houses right now. So we're seeing a lot less inventory. And of course, other sellers are hitting the pause button for now. The lower end of the market continues to see the lion's share of activity. That's also not a surprise. The lower end of the market is generally considered to be safer by most buyers, less risk of losing a ton of money in the lower end of the market versus the upper end or luxury segment. The second reason, in my opinion, is the luxury segment is mainly discretionary purchases. Most of the buyers in the luxury segment already have a house, they have a place to live, and they'll buy if they find something they like. So there's typically less pressure on them to act, and therefore many of those buyers have hit the pause button for now to see what develops here once we come out of this. And lastly, we don't have enough data yet to see what the impact on prices has been for the virus. It will be really interesting in the next 2 to 3 weeks to see how close to asking price sellers on average got, what the price per square foot looks like relative to what it was last year, etc. So we'll have more data on that in the next 2 or 3 weeks. All right, let's take a deeper dive into the data. And here's our chart for the Tri-Valley, Pleasanton, Dublin, Livermore, San Ramon. And this is for April 8th, the last 7 days. So Pleasanton, right now, there's 56 detached homes for sale. Last year in April, at the end of April, there's 109. So we're at 51% of the, if you want to consider last year in April as normal times relative for this data, then we're at 51% of normal for inventory. There's 13 new listings in the last 7 days. So people are still putting their homes on the market. Pending sales the last 7 days, 3. So not a lot of activity. The pending sales for April of last year was 65. So if you extrapolate 3 sales for 7 days, we're running at about 20% of the sales activity we saw last year at this time. The median price for the last 7 days was $1,118,950, and that's the asking price for the pending sales. The median sales price last year in April was $1,409,000. So you can see the activity is a little lower than what we were seeing last year. The highest price pending in the last 7 days was $1,275,000, and 100% of the pending sales were between $1 million and $1.5 million. And there were no pending sales under $1 million and no pending sales over $1 million. So Pleasanton continues to see rather sluggish activity. Dublin, there's 28 active listings in Dublin. There were 68 last year at this time. So we're down 41%. I'm sorry, we're 41% of normal if you consider April of last year normal. So we're 41% of the inventory last year. New listings in the last 7 days, 5. So again, a little bit of a slowdown there. Pending sales in the last 7 days, 3. So that's 25% if you extrapolate it for the full month. That's pending sales are running about 25% of what they did last year at this time. The median asking price on the pending sales for Dublin was $1,085,000, and that's a little bit below the median sales price of last year, of April of last year, of $1,187,000. The highest price sale, pending sale, was $1,438,000. And again, if you look at the spread, it's the same story. Nothing under $1 million. All of the pending sales, all 3 of them, were between 1 and 1.5 million, and nothing over $1.5 million. Livermore, which was super active last part of March, has slowed down a bit too. So we have 58 active listings right now in Livermore. That's compared to 104 in April of last year. So 56% of where we were last year in terms of inventory. There's 14 new listings in the last 7 days. So they're putting on new listings about 2 a day. Pending sales in the last 7 days, 11. So Livermore continues to be the strongest market out of the Tri-Valley cities. So 11 pending sales in the last 7 days. If you extrapolate that out for the month, it's about 47% of what it was last year, or 104 sales last year. So we're looking at pending sales activity about 47% of last year. It's clearly stronger than the other cities in the Tri-Valley. The median price, asking price for the pending sales the last 7 days, $775, and there's your reason. The median sales price in April of last year was $882. So again, lower end, bigger selection in lower end homes in Livermore, and that's borne out by the distribution of pending sales. The highest price in Livermore in the last 7 days, the asking price was $1,399,000 for pending sales. And that was only one of the 11 pending sales was over $1 million. The rest were under $1 million. Again, no sales over $1.5 million. Lastly, let's look at San Ramon. There's 39 active listings right now. Last year at this time, there's 87. So we're running at about 45% of normal inventory. There's 6 new listings in the last 7 days, so about 1 a day. Pending sales, 5. In April of 2019, we had 75 pending sales. So if you extrapolate the 5 pending sales out, we're about 30% of last year's level. The median asking price is $1,028,500. The median sales price in April of last year was $1,289,000. So a little bit below. Again, a reflection of the fact that the lower end of the market's moving. Highest price pending sale in the last 7 days was $1,199,000. 20% of the pendings in San Ramon were under $1 million, and 80% were between $1 million and $1.5 million. Again, no pending sales over $1.5 million. So that's what's going on. Lots of activity in the lower end. A bit sluggish in the upper end, especially as you get over $1.5 million. So we'll see what develops over the next couple weeks. And as always, if you have questions, hey, shoot me a text. You don't even have to talk to me. Shoot me a text. I'll be glad to answer your questions, or send me an email, doug@680homes.com. My text number is 925-621-0680, or PM me here on Facebook, or reach out to me and let me know what your questions are. If you're struggling with when to put your home on the market, I'm glad to give you my input on that. And again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Be safe out there. First and foremost, that's most important. And if you know anyone who could use this information, or you think might find it valuable, please do share it with them. And we definitely welcome your comments below. Thanks for watching.